Open the door, Grandma, because Hefe's home. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Rivals Fight Night, featuring a land shark that eats and sweeps and spits when he's all done with ya. Burr, pata, back in action. We got Dogman, we got ZP. I'm your host, Chris Puckett, and I literally built this set in the last hour. Dogman, I'm sweating. I'm wearing sunglasses in a basement. I'm ready to vibe tonight.
I can see that. It's good to be here, Sir Puckett. I see you got the glasses on, too, to hide your hangover, of course. And it's good to be around, obviously, with you and Mr. ZP today, brother.
Yeah, tequila works. ZP, can you tell me what I missed last week? Because I was in Call of Duty universe, poolside in Boca Raton. I didn't see any of your Rivals games.
Well, Puckett, I think you may actually be the main character because we have a storyline here, which is that you, the greatest fan of Jeff, missed the best week of Jeff we have ever had on Rivals Fight Night, where Tanuki came back into play. And that's also part of why we had to get Burr Patapim back this week here, because we realized, no. We can't, like, Puckett miss the week that Tanuki is back and playing Jeff. We need to do that again.
Wait. You're telling me Tanuki from OG esports now plays for that thing, Burr Patapim, and they took a map off of Virtus Pro?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying. And you missed it.
Wild stuff. Sentinels wearing the crown, 100 Thieves. Where you at? Tonight we are going to have NA and EU in action. Dogman, let's start with these two teams, though. What should I know about Burr Patapim other than the fact that my man Tanuki now has a new jersey?
I think ZP opened up pretty well. These guys can kind of play that Jeff comp pretty high to a high level, and they obviously have an incredibly talented team. I think I saw on the leaderboard in game, all of them were in the top 10. So these guys are absolute grinders. They play so much ranked mode. That's the biggest thing anybody will kind of tell you, is that these guys are out there actually competing. They're playing the game a lot, not really taking days off. They just love Marvel Rivals, man. So the entire roster is just incredibly talented. I think Pokey as well was phenomenal last week, but everybody on this team, deserves their spot for sure. And like CP mentioned earlier, Tanuki on the Jeff was kind of insane, man. That character can be nasty, and I've heard there's a few counters. Maybe we'll see them. I don't want to really spoil those counters necessarily just yet, but Jeff is definitely going to be an option for most of these teams this week.
Yeah, if they missed the show last week, that's their own fault. ZP, real quick, though, I see 3 different strategists here. Who do you expect to see in the starting action for domination?
Yeah, so it's not going to be King Beam. King Beam right now has said he is a substitute for the team, maybe even roster depth, but last week we did not see King Beam play at all, which is interesting because it's like basically the Royal Beamers OG mashup, right? Is Burr Patapim, but then you have the actual king. Actually, it makes sense. He's the king. The king doesn't need to do the work. Just let the peasants do everything. I think I figured it out here, Puckett.
Polly and Enzo are going to be running your vanguards for Burr Patapim, but who is on the other side of this matchup rocking their very own Rivals Fight Night logo? We have the one and only Yggdrasil, legendary. Are we calling him Derp tonight or DRP?
I would say DRP.
Okay, DRP.
We'll
go with that.
You guys are respectful. Understood. Respectful we will be. Wolver, Bad Genius, and Atrocity. I like that last one.
So a little bit of history on Supremacy. This is a team where, aside from, names you may be familiar with from other games like Tizan, it's also a team that has had really good results in scrims per the Scrim Bucks Express. I'm not going to tell you the scrim results because that would just be in bad form, but also even going all the way back to MRC, they were able to take a series off LG, which of course at the time was the number 2 team in Europe. So this is a team that's like maybe in the shadows relative to the overall Rivals scene, but a team that should perform pretty well here today.
All right, chat, keep me honest because I don't watch a whole lot of EU games. What do I need to know about Supremacy? Are they on the come up? Will they make a challenging spot for our position in the grand final? Remember, we have $1,000 up for grabs every Thursday. It's huge video game money, Dogman, especially when we announced $3 million in Rivals Fight, I guess, future fights today.
Yeah, that's definitely gonna eclipse pretty much everything. But that obviously money isn't everything, right? And for a lot of these players, they come in every week trying to compete, play in the new meta, play the new patch that literally just came out Puckett yesterday. So we're gonna completely get an entire turnaround potentially today.
So on that topic, what do we need to know about the comps coming in? Is there going to be character switch ups? Are we going to see the same old? What are we looking forward to, ZP? For those on the cell phone, what does this screen say?
Well, it's not even about what's on this screen right here. Even though Captain America may be reduced a little bit, I still think Cap, Jeff Cops are going to be scary if they're let through. I mean, Dogman brought up in the, as we're getting up here, is that you're probably getting more stall from Strange, maybe a little bit less group, but I don't think what you're seeing here is necessarily going to change too much, aside from the fact that I think it makes Bucky a little more viable. The scary thing to me is what's on the other slide, which is when you start getting to the strategist end, and you have Adam Warlock just getting the farm headshots off tanks to just put out more healing than God. Adam Warlock is either going to be protected or first banned all day long today. That's what I believe.
Can I make a confession, guys? I have never played Adam Warlock outside of Deathmatch. What does he do? How does he heal?
Well, this character in itself, it's like, imagine Hela, but it has a self-heal option. That's pretty much all you have to know. Like, this character just absolutely does insane amounts of damage. It is literally one of the best healers in the game in terms of damage output. It's basically played as a duelist whenever there is an Adam Warlock in the comp. That's why we see those 3 strategist comps. It's sort of like the Jeff last week bucket, where we see Jeff be that third strategist. Not really the third strategist, more so just there to pump a lot of damage. Adam Warlock now can put out that healing while doing incredible amounts of damage. So it's like ZP said, that's going to be gross. This character can just do so much.
ZP, while I was gone, did anyone win with Mantis in a lineup? I think she's 0 for 30 here on Fight Night.
I'm going to say the answer is that it was no. I didn't see all of NA, but for what I was casting, then no. The answer is no.
All right, Mantis. Nice job on the buff, up to 55. We'll see if she's in play. Dogman, what's this whisker rubbing about? What are we thinking here?
Dude, fucking Jesus Christ. I think that I don't know. I'm thinking about Cloak and Dagger, really. I think I was talking to you guys in the green room a little bit. I was talking to ZP about it. I feel like Cloak and Dagger has been sort of under the radar. It's constantly getting buffed up. I don't know if we'll see it much today, but this character already wasn't bad. It was sort of like the worst strategist out of all the like kind of main heal strategists, but it's been getting slowly kind of creeping up to the top of the meta potentially. So we might see some today.
I was going to say, she's always been popular, diamond, low GM even, just because you can get to that ultimate so quickly. ZP, what's been holding her back, and will she be in action on Hell's Heaven? That is the pre-decided map 1 for domination.
I think what's been holding her back is that teams have a crippling addiction to the double dance-off, which has been Loki Luna. There's a reason why it's been the most commonly played strategist lineup if you're not going for things like a triple strategist comp or otherwise. I think it's less about it's less about the cloak here and more just about like people loving the Loki Luna synergy. But if some of them get banned, who knows? We'll see where things go.
All right. Dogman, I wish you were on that first episode when we finally realized that ZP was just staring into Luna's soul. He gave her peck that night. He's been a little shy since. We're going to get him back there. We're going to make him comfortable as we get our teams into the mix. It's Hell's Heaven. We're going into our first game. The bans and protects are just a few moments away, and we will see where Patapim decides to go. You got to protect the Jeff right away, right?
Potentially. I mean, that could be a thing. Berber Patapim, by the way, disgusting logo, disgusting background. Everything about them, it's brown, it's gross. I love it, though. It's like kind of just them, right?
I actually wore my Berber Patapim outfit today, knowing they were going to be on the show. I was hoping Vast was going to be there, dressed as a park ranger in the middle spot, but we'll take a Dogman. Let's take a look at our first band coming in, and it's a Hela. So no headshots coming in from the goddess. On the other side, Supremacy says if you're going to remove hit scan, we'll remove Efe.
Yeah, okay. Jeff is just immediately getting removed. Look, Supremacy has done their homework and they go, no, we don't feel like dealing with the might of America and a land shark in the backline all day long. No, we're not going to deal. But you still may have to deal with Cap. I think Cap is still good with or without the Jeff, but the Jeff makes it untenable. However, right now, Warlock not being protected or banned.
Hulk ban. Okay, so that kind of nullifies the Namor, at least makes him a little less dangerous for the Supremacy protect. And now on their band, what are we doing?
Well, this is already looking to me like Berber wants to run like some sort of Cap Iron Fist dive composition. And it's interesting. The new patch actually might change some things. So I usually don't think Hela's that much of like a counter to Captain America. Like that character kind of just gets ran over by Cap, but maybe the 50 HP could make a huge difference. And a Loki band comes out from Supremacy. So kind of targeting that potential incredibly strong Loki backline with the setups.
You can only dance for 12 seconds now, ladies. Let's take a look here at Berber Patapim. Their protect will be coming in after Supremacy. I'm expecting a duelist. Okay, so we're going to see Star-Lord locked in with Namor not really in the mix. Do you expect to actually see him all 3 rounds of domination, ZP? We're going to Hell's Heaven to open things up.
We'll see. I think what I'm curious here is if Berber Patapim, and I'm not even as worried about their protect that comes in here. Okay, they're going to protect the Luna. They want to make sure they have like one of their main strategists. I'm curious if they ban that Warlock here. And they do. Okay. Because that was, to me, it's like, okay, you've protected Star-Lord. Are we going to deal with a nonstop res fest here with Rocket, Warlock, Strategist backline comps? And that's not going to be the case with the Luna Protect and the ban onto Warlock.
Final ban. Is it a respect ban? Is it strategic? Let's see where they go. Is Venom still playing Dogman?
I mean, he is, but it would be nothing. Okay, what?
Nothing. Okay. No need. Don't show your hand for game 2. Genius play, Supremacy.
Well, you know, we so the Hulk got banned, so that means we're not going to see the Iron Man. I mean, still Iron Fist, like we said. I mean, that you have that team up as well with Luna Snow. She can kind of bounce people back or whatever, push them away with the Iron Fist team up. So that could have been the third ban for Supremacy. Didn't opt for anything, which is definitely one of the plays of all time. Also, Psylocke got through and Emma Frost. So a lot of options for both teams right now.
If you're just joining us for the first time, this is Rivals Fight Night. We got a best of 5 for you in the Challengers match. The winner of this goes on to play for $1,000 against Virtus Pro, who does not know how to lose in Rivals. On the mic tonight, we got the one and only Dogman and ZP. Take it away, Andrew.
All right, we're hopping on in. And Andrew, that was a first here. I like it. We're getting onto it. First day basis, but Hell's Heaven is where kicking it off here, Dogman. And it's going to be interesting because I feel like from what we saw from Berber Patapim last week, again, they're not too shy about running a lot of cap into the back line. And they'll usually, at least last week, they're pairing it with Torch. And okay, we get in here. And what is more common to see than Yazan coming on in on a flyer? You know, it's not quite shooting rockets, but it may as well with how good Torch is right now.
Yeah, Torch going through. I can't believe that just literally phased over me, man. I mean, that character is just overpowered for sure and can absolutely carry lobbies. I'm curious how good he is at this character. Like I said, I haven't seen too much Yazan gameplay as of late. I know Legendary is incredible on the Star-Lord type of characters, so probably why they protected it, but Psylocke going through means you have to play that character.
Chat, there is zero chance we are saying this Torch's name correctly. Please let us know how to do it as we move forward with a Psylocke.
Legendary right now here in the back. And you know, it's kind of interesting. You're talking about what tanks are you going to see? You know, what's it going to be? Well, right now you got caps. You got caps in play, and both teams right now just feeling each other out in the first opening here. No pickoffs yet.
Yeah, Supremacy sort of playing that counter dive with that Emma Frost, trying to grab whoever kind of comes in, and Cap on the other side on the front line, just kind of creating a lot of space. It depends on kind of which of these two Human Torches can find the back line, find that opening, or just damage via these tanks.
Interesting point comparison between the teams. You got one team running with the Groot Cap, the other team running with the Emma Groot. And, you know, you get a little bit more for your Psylocke with the team up, but Yazan going down early. Pokey able to get to the back line. Man up right now is Berber Patapim, and it just continues to snowball after that. Quick pick off, and yeah, I mean, Donovan, what do you make of this tank difference between the teams, you know, the Cap versus the Emma?
Yeah, it's interesting because when you run the Emma Frost, you have a lot of that anchor towards the point. You can kind of just secure the objective. Also, you have the team up with Psylocke. If you notice for Berber and Patapim, you don't get that team up, so you don't get your mirrored image combination, which allows sort of for those really fast time to kills that Psylocke can't do. She can do it without it for sure, but it does make it a lot easier. But with this current composition, I think Berber can kind of set up the pace. They can kind of do whatever they want, whereas the Emma Frost, it sort of makes sense where this Groot and his Emma is always going to be. The Cap's going to be your backline constantly, though.
Also, Tanuki is doing a ridiculous job of just zoning things out right now. Torch is something I actually expect to get better and better because people didn't have that much game time on Torch prior to the buffs, but now we're entering week 3 of Season 2. Team's gotten a lot more comfortable with min-maxing Torch. Here we go, Tanuki. Gonna drop the Supernova, face out, or force out the Luna ult here from Supremacy. And Supremacy just gonna try to stand, but DRP gets burned down. Ult, not enough to keep him up.
No, and that Groot ult was late too. I mean, this is brutal for Supremacy. They're just trying to panic ult right now, come back into this fight, but Berber guy has 2 support ultimates, including Captain America. So they're going to use that Luna Snow dance floor. Now they have the Cap ult to disengage against Legendary, and this is brutal if you're the side of Supremacy. They're getting dominated.
Yeah, and I think the interesting thing too, like, not you're in this world where Torch is more meta. I mean, Torch likes being more on the defense than the attack here. On top of the fact that this map is already, like, pretty difficult for the attackers if you're behind. I can't think of a worse meta for Hell's Heaven to lose first fight. I mean, it just seems to put Supremacy in a really bad spot early on.
You're on the money here, ZP. I think that it's just so hard for them to come in. I mean, they have Emma Frost ultimate, but look how many mobile characters we have on Berber, right? They can just disengage that ultimate. They can run away wherever they want to. I don't know how Supremacy gets the job done here with 15% left to go.
Well, they're waiting. They're looking for an opportunity. Yazan in on the flank. It's the back line right now. Goes for the dive, and yeah, doesn't get the finish onto it. So now just a little bit of shots going in forward, but Berber Patapim gonna get the hits butterfly in from Pokey. Connects into the back. Legendary down 3, now 4 in for Berber Patapim. Gonna be a quick round 1 here, Dogman.
Yeah, I mean, that fight was pretty much unwinnable, right? You take that trade, I think, going into the next round. At least they used the Groot ultimate. At least they committed that Dance of the Butterflies with Psylocke. You've only traded out the Emma Frost ultimate, so that's something you're going to be happy with, but it's tough for Supremacy, right? They sent Yazan on that flank over the top left, and, you know, he tried to go for, like, the double right-click into his slam, try to get a one-shot into his support, but, you know, Berber Patapim's, their strategists are so good. They're not going to die to that. They know the, you know, damage output of Human Torch, how much it can do, and how hard that character can carry just with that one-shot potential.
That first round was yucky. Shout out to Andrew, aka ZP. Yazan is correct. Leg Day, On Clear, and Ama Harbi all let us know that is Yazan the SA, Saudi Arabia. Shout out to my guy. Back to you.
All right, Puck with the name pronunciation update. So we hop on in, and that right now may be the most important revelation because in the last round it was just pretty one-sided.
I was gonna say, ZP, I don't think we're gonna be pronouncing his name too much if they you know, can't even get a kill.
Yeah, it's not untrue, is what I'll say here. We're gonna head in, and it's still a change. Rather, it's still a difference here between two teams where now you have Cap Groot versus Magneto Groot. So the front line for Supremacy continually in flux.
I think the thing is, EMEA sort of figured this out. They know how to play against the Magneto, specifically, but know how to play around it as well. They just kind of burn that Magneto shield. Character doesn't do much after that. And again, Supremacy's composition is very stagnant. You have to win based on strategist. But what do you do when Paulie kills 2 already?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of that was set up by Tanuki, just getting up the damage, and then the rest was like brought in by the Cap. But you're right. I mean, it was a torch Cap dive immediately. You lose 2 strategists in the back, and it's just done. I mean, the upside here for Supremacy is that it's going to be a little bit easier to recontest onto this stage relative to the last one, but you still got to do it into a torch.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's like a comp diff or whatever. Now they're off to Wolverine, off of the Psylocke, off of the Emma Frost. So it seems like Supremacy's just kind of throwing darts at a wall right now, trying to figure something out. Berber, their composition is just so much more proactive. All of Supremacy is moving together. You know exactly where they're going to be, so you can just surround them, you know, have all of the flank angles as you possibly would want and kind of just collapse upon them like sharks lurking in the water. And Supremacy's drowning right now.
There we go, Berber Patapim in on the dive once more. It's Cap, it's Psylocke, and looking for a little bit of Susan Storm here in the back. Still, what's going on? A little bit of farm coming in here from Pokey, working to the Dance of the Butterfly. Supremacy, meanwhile, investing in the front line. Gonna have the Strangling Prison down. It's enough to take down Groot. And with the one pickoff, is this gonna be Supremacy's first time on the board here? Again, control, Bad Genius, able to pick off 1 off the last stand. And it's gonna be Supremacy. First team fight win of the series.
Yeah, that was great use of the strategist ultimates there from Supremacy. Yazan again. I mean, absolutely disgusting on that hero with the ultimate. They took advantage of Berber. I wonder what happened there with Ken's ultimate. It couldn't save anybody in the Groot ultimate, I believe. NZO now swaps over to the Magneto.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting that you now have this swap, but you know the one thing they'll give up? They give up the Groot, but they don't give up the Cap. They're still dedicated to America is what we're seeing right now. The Captain of America, that is.
Captain of America. To see if he can continue his reign of dominance right now. Early ultimate committed by Legendary to keep the backline alive, and that's just going to keep him up for a little bit longer through Pokey's ultimate, and they can walk back into the point.
Yeah, I mean, it's not bad. You force out the invisible boundary. Meanwhile, looking here at Tanuki. Supernova has been popped. Looking, dodging around the Magneto. Still looking to the backhand side, if possible. Rotating around the pillars, both torches doing that. Genius, though, able to find Enzo and take him out. The swap to Wolverine actually paying some big dividends for Supremacy here so far. They get the Vanguard out of the fight early. Polly now in danger. Tanuki struggling to get anything done right now in the air. Supremacy just ruthlessly dives on to the ground. And it's looking like Supremacy gonna keep control for now.
Yeah, I like how they're playing it right now. Paulie, unfortunately, didn't get any value out of his ultimate. Only forced out Legendary's ult, who's already halfway to another one. So right now, Supremacy kind of have an iron grasp on this point, and see if they can keep it up right now with their strategist, but Bad Genius as well. And the Tanuki finding that opening pick. This is great for Supremacy, like you said, ZP.
Yeah, they just got 2, and they didn't have to burn any ultimates. For a second, I thought, oh, you know, Wolver was going to use the Strangling Prison. No, they just got 2 picks in the neutral. Now 80% to 51%. A huge turnaround from how the last round started and how this round began. And, you know, I do wonder for Berber Patapim, do you still invest heavy resources here? I think they will, but I do wonder if it's the right play.
We'll see. I think the switch to Wolverine has given Supremacy this sort of lead, right? They had Bad Genius go into the sky, grab one immediately. Legendary, nice job taking out Pauly even through Invisible Woman's ultimate.
String post gonna be dropped here early by Wolverine. Fall through, gonna be there. Berber Patapim trying to withstand. They're down Pauly still. Is he Tanuki trying to turn things around here? Berber Patapim slicing all around, except Luna's dancing the whole way through. So right now, nothing's gonna happen. Meanwhile, Zon into the top, dropping the Supernova as Tanuki though gets 2. And off the last stand, maybe enough here for Berber Patapim to flip the fight.
Yeah, surely is. Bad Genius as well taking NZ off the map. They committed a Supernova, even though everybody's pretty much gone except Yazan. So I guess it's not that bad of an ultimate. Berber now back in control. They're on their own Wolverine, which obviously was huge there with that last stand, like you said. ZP Tanuki absolutely carrying that fight.
Come on in, Supremacy. Take a look at what they're gonna have. Otherwise, they have the invisible boundary good to go. Strategist ult actually a little bit behind for Berber Patapim here, so I think half of this Dogman may just depend on what sort of Wolverine engage we get in from Tanuki if it can disrupt Supremacy before they get to the fight.
Tanuki didn't look towards the top right angle where a Human Torch was setting up. Oh my god, Bad Genius taking Pauly out the sky. That's why Wolverine is actually pretty good in this meta. He's somewhat of a counter to Human Torch.
That is ridiculous also. Okay, well, even thinks we're going to take out a Vanguard, just bring Magneto off into the lava, but trade out to, no, not again. Just the Wolverine just keep on dying. This time though, Bad Genius able to keep his feet on solid ground. The flip coming in favor of Supremacy, and that is going to send us to a round 3. So after a pretty rough early start, Supremacy, Dogman, they make changes. Most notably, they get Logan back in there. This side, we need a little bit of slice and dice, a little bit of adamantium to spice things up, and it works quite well.
Yeah, I'm surprised Puckett isn't coming in to make a comment on it. I'm sure he's waiting in the wings, ready to make a comment, but yeah, there he is. He's gonna slice our throats with his adamantium claws. My God.
I mean, it's just the sunglasses. The sunglasses are they're weaponized, actually.
Well, ZP, it's interesting because these Wolverine players have gotten so good. I mean, I imagine a lot of Human Torch players playing ranked have experienced this. There's like Wolverines will look just for the Human Torch in the sky, like they're waiting in the wing on the high ground, going for a right click into a shift, and they can just find you like a Hulk player taking out an Iron Man back in the old days.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting, the versatility that you're going to get there. But yeah, I mean, for Supremacy, they make really well-tuned adjustments. And just within the series alone, we've already seen a lot of change-ups where, look at Berber Patapim. They were attached to the Captain America. Now they're coming out on Magneto Emma for the final point versus a Groot Magneto, where it's kind of interesting, Dogman, where we've seen some variation with duelists, but especially from the Vanguards in this game so far.
Yeah, I mean, the synergy with the Wolverine's been big. Honestly, I kind of don't hate the original comps, so it's interesting that they are sort of bending the knee, switching the composition. Last Stand misses on the other side, a little bit hard to hit that. Incoming is on with aggressive plays, but the peel comes through back from the Human Torch of Berber.
Yeah, a little bit of Torch v Torch. Is on to slowly float his way off into the invisible boundary. DRP, meanwhile, takes down Tanuki, doesn't get punished, sets up Supremacy on the +1. He's on, feeling a little bit more empowered to just go Torch v Torch. Meanwhile, his team's still working at advantage on the ground. Gonna get the Fate being popped here by Berber Patapim, extending things out. Now he's on, knowing he's about to fade. Decides to go Supernova, drops it on over at end. Under pressure though, has to Meteor dive out. Meanwhile, Meteor M in from end zone, not gonna connect with anything here just yet. Supremacy coming back in. Bad Genius with the last stand, takes down 2 with the help of Luna, but Tanuki ganks his own on the other side.
Yeah, Bad Genius has been disgusting on this Wolverine. I don't know how Ken's still alive, by the way. Excellent peel, excellent movement from him. That looked like it was in Supremacy's favor, like you said, ZP, with Bad Genius's ultimate, but unfortunately, Wolverine too short, too far away, couldn't just find that kill. And, without the cooldowns, how are you going to track down an Invisible Woman just slowly walking away from you? It looks like you were not. Berber now control the point, like you said. That was a long first fight, ZP.
Yeah, I mean, it took a while and also could have went both ways. I mean, it just kind of got decided by one pick on the backside as Bad Genius is getting absolutely crunched at the beginning. Nearly a super early pickoff, which would have bought Berber Patapim a lot of time, but Supremacy able to heal back up by a little bit of time. The visual boundary in reserve, and there we go, the abduction Yazan brought to ground. Quick little hit from Tanuki, sets things up on a great tilt because, I mean, you lose your torch that early, you just go for the reset. You don't like this fight anymore.
No, I mean, on the other side, Bad Genius did get his own hook, but now on the flank, here comes the Wolverine. Absolutely disgusting work from Tanuki there. I don't know, Yazan knew that was coming too, like you said, ZP. He was expecting the grab to come through the kidnap in the sky, but unfortunately, he still walked forward.
All right, so clean stuff from Berber Patapim on round 3. Supremacy still looking for their first control, starting the run out of time. 65% left for Berber Patapim to take map number 1. And right now, we got the engage. Both Wolverines diving on in. Supremacy, Fate of both worlds, ready to go. Atrocity gonna have to drop that sooner rather than later. It's gonna be double strategist ult versus double strategist ult here. But the key is you don't want to drop anything in neutral before it begins. 80%, Berber Patapim win this fight. They get the map.
Starting up with the Meteor M2, looking for the back line. Too far away, though, plus the bubble. Everybody avoids it. Incoming ultimates on the counter engage.
All right, Supernova going to be dropped into the invisible boundary. Both teams looking pretty healthy. DRP just hanging on out, but going to get dragged out a little bit here by Wolverine. It goes for the Meteor M, still ends up getting taken down in turn. Both teams down 1. Tanuki, meanwhile, last stand here in the back line, waiting for the dance to fade. Going on in, diving. Right now, doesn't grab anything here just yet. Drops on down manually. Has the last stand, good to go. Still looking, is just pushing Supremacy back. Lands the last stand. Go, looking, gets both strategists in the back line. And that's going to be Berber Patapim finishing this one off cleanly here. We'll see if the Strange Portal buys much time, but you lose both strategists like that, it's pretty unlikely.
Yeah, grabbed as well. Nice grab from the Emma Frost there. Pauly with that switch last second, and Berber get it done. Map number 1. Gonna go their way, ZP.
You might be able to get Tanuki off the Jeff, but sometimes you wonder if the Logan may be even worse, where, you know, it's interesting how this went down. You had the swaps back and forth. It was Supremacy that made the Wolverine look good first, and Berber, they just take one look at it and they go, actually, we can play that. That's fine. Yeah. But now, you know, as you take a look at this, did anything surprise you, Dogman, from the comps here? Just what we knew going in? Or is this pretty much standard?
I mean, yeah, the Wolverine, I kind of knew it was coming into today that was going to be super strong versus the Human Torch. And, you know, I'm a little surprised to see it this early on. With the bans, it kind of makes sense. The dive comp with the Captain America was interesting, alongside a Groot as well. So bunch of different variations of different compositions as we progressed. I'm just surprised that it happened so quick. I liked how the teams were sort of adapting on the fly at a rapid pace. I kind of didn't expect that. But EMEA... there seems like such a flexible region. I think they can kind of do whatever they want right now.
Fantastic opening game of domination. We get 3 rounds just when I thought Supremacy was going to roll over. Looks like we got some fun. Wolverines, multiple games. Can it happen, Dogman? Is this the meta where you have to take down a flying guy with a guy who doesn't have projectiles? He just got claws and a little dash ability.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is. That's what it is. I mean, outskilled basically just by a guy on Wolverine. It really is that character, and it's tough because it's like, okay, what do you want to do? Fly away from it? Yeah, I guess you just play in the skybox. But every time, if you want to do as much damage as you can on Human Torch, you have to get close, right? You have to get up in their face, and right there in the midst of it is going to be that Wolverine who can just grab you out of the sky and stun you for forever. So I don't know, not very fair and balanced, I think.
I do got to give credit to both of the Torches, surviving when all of my teammates would normally die. The dives, not always successful, but they get out with their lives and the fights continue. Take a look, though, at some of the other play. I was looking for a bit of a difference on the DPS. I feel like Tanuki matching up against Yazan is one. What are you seeing here from Pokey versus Bad Genius? Who has the edge up to this point?
I mean, from what we've seen so far, I mean, granted, our sample size for Bad Genius is pretty small. There's a lot of Wolverine, and, you know, it's not a one-to-one comparison, but Pokey just looks incredibly versatile, where you look at Pokey's hero pool, Pokey on the Hella looked incredibly good last week, and this week right now, whether Pokey was on the Torch or otherwise, I mean, or on the Sidewalk, just was able to find good moments. I mean, just knowing also how to work with your Captain America and actually make some of those dives work. It's not the easiest thing in the world. I mean, healing in Marvel Rivals is strong, so if you want to go in with your Cap and actually secure kills, it has to be spot on. And the fact that Pokey had that coordination with the Cap play, I mean, look, it was just solid regardless of playstyle, which was still really varied even within the course of this one map.
And does Emma Frost not counter Wolverine at this point, like originally thought? When the first cinematics came out, they're like, oh, that's the death of Wolverine. He's just gonna have his back broken over and over again. Dogman, can you still play him against her?
I think you can, but we'll have to see when we see VP later, because that's the team who really was honestly dominating on the Emma Frost, was dominating with the Psylocke. Teams perma banned Psylocke versus them, and it seems like for Berber and Supremacy, neither team, you know, fully can play around that Psylocke to that high of a level. I mean, I'm also surprised we're not seeing any Iron Fist. I think North America prioritizes that here a little bit more. Over here, that Wolverine been prominent, and I think that kind of is the way. It feels like to me EMEA is on top of the meta and the patch notes and the changes that have come through.
I was just watching the highlights again of Wolverine stabbing torches out of the sky. That'll never get old to me. Please keep doing it all broadcast long. We're going to see where we go for map number 2. It's going to be the path as we load up. We've seen full holds, basically. We've seen some Jeff play. Does Jeff make it through the ban and protect ZP? Does it happen this time?
I think probably not. I think anytime you're going to lead with a first ban Jeff, it's one of those things where not every team has a player that's actually went into the thick of it and actually learned how to play a really good flanking Jeff. My gut feel, based on what we saw from map 1, is that I don't think Supremacy is one of those teams that has a Jeff in their back pocket, which means you don't want to see Tanuki play it, especially going into Yggdrasil path where it's really, really effective, especially on first. We saw it before Jeff was even way more heavily played. So yeah, I think Jeff first ban probably comes on in here from Supremacy. And the one thing that I'm a little bit surprised at though, and maybe it's just because of Hella power on Supremacy, but Pokey also plays an incredibly good Hella. I was surprised that in terms of comps that Berber Patapim was looking towards, that they actually felt the need to ban the Hella just because, last week it just seemed like a strong point for them.
He was playing Psylocke a little bit like a Hella, a little far for my liking. We're going to jump into this game number 2. Before we go, chat, I saw there was some drama. I saw some private messages on my side, but I'm working and they were on both sides of things. So instead of talking about drama, we're going to watch some rivals and we're just going to mute the haters who come in with a first-time chat to bring up drama. Get the hell out of here. Let's get into the games. Dogman, ZP, Pans and Protects are on the way. ZP, you're first, right? Your Supremacy, you picked the map. What's the thought process with the comp? You get to set the tone here. What do you want to do?
I mean, I think based on what we saw Supremacy, or what we saw Berber Patapim ban and what Supremacy wanted to play, the fact that they decided to come out with the Emma comp, I think they prefer something a little bit more slow, a little bit more when they can play at range. I don't think they really enjoy the be full on dive or have people diving their backline, especially given the fact that, remember, they went in like protecting them more. Anything they can do to slow things down is, I think, what Supremacy is like angling towards here.
They're tired of the dancing. When we use our ultimates, you should die. That's what Supremacy is saying with the Luna ban out of the gates. Berber Patapim, it's your turn, and they say no Adam. So 2 for 2 on Strategist ban.
Yeah, the Hella was the first ban last time, so we'll see if things are in reverse order. I mean, that could change it, as well as another character that does get rid of Jeff, by the way, which is not a priority ban for Supremacy, and I've heard behind the scenes a lot of counter could be played, is that Hulk Iron Man team up, the Beam characters, right? Just shred Jeff on his when he's on the ground. Yeah, the Beamy Boys do work versus Jeffy Boy.
I like this call out. Dogman with the up-to-date meta. We've got Mr. Loki locked in. On the other side, ZP, do they protect the strategist? No, Namor is in play.
Yeah, I think Supremacy would still like to angle to play Namor if they can get to next protect and protect Hulk. We'll see if it happens. I think Berber Patapim is probably going to take out the Hulk just because they don't want Namor slowing the game out to that extent. I think it's interesting, though, that they had the opportunity to protect Jeff and decide no. And I think it's just the fact that strategist-wise, they really want to make sure that they have either Loki or Luna available. Luna got banned immediately, so it forced
and
Berber
they got rid of
Patapim's
the
hand.
Invisible Woman, and now we got Adam left. So really, you're playing what, Cloak and Dagger at this point? And then Jeff?
Very likely. And also, I mean, do they protect Jeff? Because if they protect Jeff here, I think on the other end, Supremacy's probably going to ban Cap. So
you got rid of the Hulk, so less beams.
I think they protect Cap, actually. Yeah, okay. Because it's less damaging to them to have Cap, or like Jeff ban than have Cap ban. Because if you ban Cap, you effectively also ban Jeff at the same time.
Great call outs. Supremacy, game time. Hella, protected, headshots, incoming. Dogman, we like this?
I mean, I like it, but I don't know. At least from everything I've watched in playing it myself, I just feel like Hella kind of gets countered by the Cap dive comp a little bit. It's hard to make it work, right? You have to play heavily around the Hella. It's a very slow composition. Supremacy have shown that they can play that style. They love to play it slow, and you kind of know Loki's protected as well, can play that. And you have the Jeff ban coming through. Supremacy's bans make a lot of sense. I think they're going to constantly ban 2 strategists out and ban out Jeff. That seems to be their play so far.
All right, that's the game plan for Supremacy. They are down 1 map. This is their map choice. They had the initial ban to set the tone. Berber Patapim, though, is going to lock in with the final selection, and that will be a Groot removed. No more strangling prisons, especially around that first point. They're devastating. Here we go. 30 seconds to the game. ZP, who do you like so far in the ban and protect phase?
You know, it's interesting. I think Supremacy, they do have some tools to slow it down, but on the same note, you've gotten rid of Groot, which is an interesting last ban from Berber Patapim, where everything they are doing, from their protects to their bans, shout out we want to be in your face. We don't want this to be a long-range engagement whatsoever. Meanwhile, it's the opposite for Supremacy. So to me, watching the positional play develop here is going to be super, super interesting to see which team actually gets what they want.
Black Panther meta. When will it be? Leg Day wants to know. Have we seen a Black Panther in action on Rivals Fight Night?
No, we have
Not
not,
like
dude.
since
That
week
character,
2.
no,
Yikes.
it's not a good character. Unfortunately, the only rank it's good in is like silver, where that guy died and was like, "What am I supposed to do? I'm a strategist. How do I react to this?" And it's just like he's just not looking around on controller.
Doing spinny kicks, bruh. All right, back into the games. We got ZP. We've got Dogman. It's Fight Night, EU style.
All right. Well, this one's going to be interesting here. If for nothing else, Dogman, we've gone rid of the Groot. So no Groot's going to be in play whatsoever. And you look at the front line, it's Magneto, Cap on one side, and you got Cap into Emma on the other side for Supremacy. I mean, Supremacy, this one, anchor up even here in the attack. And the quick little shots from the attack Widow. Can't imagine Legendary's going to stand for long, though.
No, he might. The Mantis buffs plus the damage boost changes. I mean, it's cheese, but you can do it. Like, they just buff the Black Widow and look for one-shots, basically. That's, like, the whole point of this comp.
Yeah.
It's very weird. It's like a ranked meta, though, right? I mean, like you said, we don't see this in the pro level, usually.
Well, right now, I just need to see Legendary's point of view. Like, this is my personal request to the observers. Give us the Widow, and we'll get the Widow as soon as she gets back to spot, because she's just passed away to Magneto. So, a quick little trade out of kills, actually, a little bit better for Supremacy if you're looking for trades, as Yazan into the back. Quick assassination of Ken, and right now, Supremacy making quick work of this first point, which you don't always see.
No, yeah, Yazan looks pretty good on that side lock. I mean, that was nice combination. The healing not there, obviously, but it's tough to save somebody there. Oh, a little bit too far from DRP now, too. That enables the Supremacy side to sort of walk back in, but Legendary just hitting shot after shot on their attack.
I like it here so far. It's kind of funny, too, because the Protect came in from Supremacy, but it's Patapim that's getting use out of it here so far. But oh, dear Lord, the cleanup into the back. Pokey was able to get backside with Polly, and the P&P there, Dogman, gonna slow down this attack. Only 2.5 minutes left now for Supremacy.
Yeah, I think that it was enabled entirely from Tanuki there on that right side, just able to slam dunk on the back line. The healing lacking, meaning this Human Torch should be able to do even more damage. It's always going to be hard to heal the Human Torch when you have Cloak and Dagger and you have Loki. These two heroes don't necessarily enable Human Torch that much, but as long as they stay alive, it can buy them enough time for Tanuki to get those eliminations.
Well, early Dance of the Butterfly going to be popped here. Nothing really used in response from Patapim. They're able to just back out. But meanwhile, Alex is going to get caught by Legendary on the Widow. The Widow finding the pickoff. Atrocity finishing off Enzo. And with 2 quick pickoffs, one aided by the Widow. I mean, Patapim, they're just forced to back out. They're going to buy some time here with the Cap ult. But it's looking very, very Supremacy favored here thus far. We'll see if Legendary is able to do another here. I'm just excited to see the Widow in play. Grabs Tanuki out of the air.
Yeah, Legendary known for his incredible aim, generally a hit scan player, and you can see exactly why. I was a little confused why, by the way, late portal comes out. So now that cooldown's not going to be available from the side of Burr because Pokey switched to that hero. But it was interesting that the proactivity was not there from Burr because when they have Polly on that Captain America, you'd think he'd be setting up those dives. You'd think he'd be like kind of negating those angles from Legendary, but he was just not. And unfortunately, that gave the space to Legendary, that gave the space to Supremacy's front line. And well, now you see again, Pokey gets staggered out.
I do wonder how much room Yazan is starting to get here because of how much they've had to fear the Widow. The Widow's got enough picks into the neutral game here, but I just feel like you can't look at the Psylocke as aggressively when really you're worried about the burst threat from the Widow.
Yeah, you're going to get one shot walking out here, too. It's just terrifying. Tanuki, meanwhile, on the flank, looking for Legendary, and they can't really hard dive on him because he has that stun on both sides. Meteor M's missing on both teams, but Ken gets the elimination on Yazan. That should give Burr a little bit more space.
Yeah, Yazan was diving in the back line, got caught. Meanwhile, Supremacy, I mean, they're on the back foot. They're just getting run down by Patapim, but still not a bad first attack into second here from Supremacy, making this Mantis Widow comp work.
Sorry, ZP, I have not seen a successful Mantis, and I have not seen a successful Widow. Does it work now? What the hell's happening?
The answer is breakpoints. If you can get one shots off because of the buffs and the changes, the answer is yes. Two things that may not be good on their own, maybe greater than the sum of their parts. Dogman is how I would answer Bucky's question.
No, I think you raised a great point. I think that with the Mantis changes, it enables her to be a way better character now. And the one shots were always a thing. Tanuki though, going to take down Legendary, getting caught on the main line. And maybe Berber is catching on, though, because it's a little, straightforward of a play style. Legendary hit your shots. All they need is one, and maybe Yazan also goes in that flank. But if they start playing around it, if they start maybe controlling that front line, Pauly as well in the Emma Frost, maybe giving them a little bit more sustain versus Yazan, looking for that back line, constantly negating those angles as well with the shields, Pauly should be able to help remove all those shots from Legendary.
All right, Yazan setting up here into the back line. We'll see if the Widow threat has made more room here for the sidewalk. Dance of the Butterfly, locked, loaded, ready to go. Supremacy looking for their way in. Meanwhile, gonna get Dance of the Butterfly first here from Tanuki into the Supremacy backline, but not gonna get too much here. Yazan still holding on to his in turn. Now we go, Supremacy looking on in. Yazan into the back, Dance of the Butterfly gonna be popped. Yazan right now, not getting too much in turn. Low HP, needs to be healed back up. And just a quick little disengage coming on in here from Berber Patapim. Meteor M gonna be used. Both teams still at full strength. Legendary now looking, finishes off Enzo. Enzo nowhere to go. Shield low, and now Legendary getting the reset up here. Supremacy at an advantage here on the second point.
Well, and Ken also use the copy, so this is not going to be available, or now he's going to use it last second. Now it comes back through with the ultimate. Has to. Supremacy just waits this out now. Doesn't even need to. They pick off Tanuki because they can get eliminations through these Stratus ultimates. Like you said, with that Widow, he's just going to constantly go for one shots, maybe take on this Hela. No, it's Wolver in the sky to slam dunk with that Meteor M.
Yeah, Wolver just able to go in, getting good Meteor M value, and just holding the front line here with the aid of DRP. And Berber Patapim not able to get back out, not able to get in and contest the convoy. And this is going to be point 2, heading the way of Supremacy. So, this is an interesting look. We haven't seen this before in Rivals Fight Night. It's a Season 2 special. Mantis, Black Widow. It's working.
Question for the lore lords in the chat. What weapon are we seeing Magneto wield? Is that a metal 2x4? Is it a sword? Is it a piece of rebar? Let me know in the chat right now. I have no idea what he's using, but I want one.
Gotta go to the local material shop and buy Puckett a Magneto sword. I can't. By the way, oh yeah, sorry, what are you saying?
No, craft him a sword. Like I think Puckett wants he wants the artisanal stuff right now. Like make a YouTube video as you craft Puckett his own Magneto sword, but also Yazan in real danger, nearly losing the Psylocke v Psylocke dive. Just got back on out after the stealth. Now going into the back line, decides, you know what, maybe I gotta help with the cap problem right now. Get healed back up, wait for the next dive. Supremacy though, you got the Dance of the Butterfly good to go. Yazan, gotta go stealth. Looking for the opportunity. Regeneration domain is down. Now would be a good time to actually potentially let it rip. However, you're gonna get the God of Mischief being popped by Berber Patapim. Gonna lead to a little bit more healing with the cloak ult. So Yazan just gonna wait for now. But all the while, Dogman, Supremacy is still getting good convoy push.
Yeah, and they forced out Stratus ultimates, forced out Greens earlier, so this ultimate should be huge, at least in combination with other ultimates. But Magneto sort of used like a support ultimate to delay the inevitable engage, and that sort of works out for them because they were able to find Yazan on the left side flank, also going to get some staggers on the DRP. This is how I wanted them to play in the Streets phase, ZP. I think earlier they didn't take advantage of, early green usage, early lamps usage from that Mookie on the other side. Now they are taking advantage of it with 36 seconds left. This team, Berber Patapim, they have changed composition so many times throughout this map. It's really unique, I think, how they're doing it and how they're playing the game.
At this point, I think you're just happy to see some Iron Fist that's not NA. In this case, you're just like, it's more of an NA thing. No. EMEA. We got the reserve Iron Fist, at least from Tanuki. Berber Patapim, though. Ult Bank looking pretty decent. Same for Supremacy in turn, but you do have the swap off now, right? Where you're no longer on the Widow for last point. The sight lines aren't as good. Going over instead to Hela. So see if Legendary is able to perform. Fight though in progress. Psionic Seduction right now in from DRP. Supremacy. Wolver dropping Meteor M in response. Berber Patapim though not flinching at all. Tanuki into the backline. Iron Fist ult used. So far both teams sold full strength. Bad Genius right now doing a little bit of strategist ulting himself. And right now, all the ults are drained. This is where you expect some of the eliminations to come on in. Pauly working into the backhand side with Pokey, able to grab one. And here comes Dance of Butterfly. Pokey should clean up the rest.
Yeah, Grain's also used here. Late ultimate from Atrocity, and at this point, Supremacy lost 2 of their members. They're swapping over to Doctor Strange. But if anybody else goes down here to Enzio with that Meteor M, it might be over for Supremacy. Enzio does get one. Another one follows through. Here comes the Dance of Butterflies. But with both healers alive here, it's not going to do too much except create a little bit of space.
Yeah, and Yazan coming back in late to the fight. Of course, one of 3 people left here from Supremacy. Not going to be able to hold the convoy long. But, it's worth noting, while they get held in the middle of third, you're not even guaranteed to get first on this map. So, I mean, there's a world where Supremacy just has the fuller hold, and that's it in this instance. They hold on first and leaving up the series 1-1. So, still very winnable conditions here for Supremacy.
Yeah, you're right.
The official name is the Slap Rod for Magneto's long schlong, by the way. Thank you, chat.
I don't think that's the official name. I really don't. I don't think that's the official name.
Meteor Slap Rod, medium.
The medium slap rod. That's the name?
Sorry, Meteor. I misread that. Meteor. Thank you. Continue.
Slap rod.
Meteor. Okay, you gotta have Meteor in the name. You know, that sounds a little bit more official. But you know what I'm curious here? Does Supremacy still decide to run with the Widow on defense, or is that more of a pick thing? To me, it feels like one of those things where you feel better using it on attack because of the benefits of picks relative to what you get in defense, where you just, in terms of draining the clock, you'd rather have something a little bit more reliable, generally speaking. And that appears what we're going to see right now. As a legendary right now, it's still heading out, but showing Hela instead.
I mean, the Manta showing wasn't that bad. I don't hate it, but yeah, versus the Iron Fist, the character's sort of unkillable. In that third phase as well, it was a hard fight. They used so many ultimates, layered them almost, and without those eliminations, it feels like a Marvel Rivals ZP. Whenever we see that many ultimates popped and no kills, like you're like, okay, once these ultimates fade, you're surely going to falter, right? Because Burr, right, played that ult game so well.
Yeah, I mean, in this case, you don't even get the dancing in that moment. It's like, well, there's a lot of eternal bonds going on. You know, everyone's bonding. No one's actually dying in the moment as, the Loki clone sets the stage. But here we go. Supremacy looking to stave off being down 2 maps in a row. Let's see what they got here for first defense on Yggdrasil path. If they're able to have one of those iconic defenses here once more, Wolver able to take down Pokey early on. So that's a good start for Supremacy.
Yeah, Pokey getting caught out. The peel came through from Yazan. They just decided to wait for him to sort of show himself, hearing that invisible. It's a very loud sound effect, right? When that Psylocke goes invisible. Also, nice shots from Legendary onto the Cap, who now, takes that 50 HP buff. That obviously plays a factor into how much damage this guy can do to you on Hela, onto Captain America. Maybe not as much space to be held, but Pokey, oh my god, deleted Legendary.
Yeah, Pokey just gets right in there, so the Hela threat is gone, and Burr Patapim said start time to play. Diving on deep right after, trying to add one elimination into another before ultimates come online, but look at Burr Patapim. Ken has the God of Mischief, good to go. Gonna be coming in here with the cloak immediately. Is on though, able to take down Enzo, and that Loki clone just a little bit too late to save Enzo, and that may be the difference here for Supremacy. Supremacy getting back up to a full 5, getting dove into the back is Wolver right now by the Iron Fist. Meanwhile, Yazan saying, I got room in the back line. Gotta take down Pokey. No one's supporting him because everyone's trying to keep the front line alive. And now, going for a little bit of pressure here. The solo dance of the butterfly on the Enzo in the back. Enzo getting chopped up. Nothing he can do in that situation. Yazan completely cleaning the board.
Yazan's a little nasty on the Psylocke. My god, just diffing Pokey in those situations. 2 minutes left on the clock. I mean, I know Yazan's got a lot of time on the Psylocke, and you can see why this guy is this Psylocke player for Supremacy. I mean, absolutely beautiful play from him. Exactly what you want to see, especially since the comp they're playing against is so hard to play Psylocke against, because you're sort of changing roles. You're being that counter diver instead of going for those proactive dives, and Legendary now takes down NZO.
I feel like Enzo's been getting hit a lot across the board right now. The number one priority, burn down the Magneto, eliminate the Magneto. And you kind of talked a little bit about early in the broadcast of how teams have gotten better of dealing with Magneto, just breaking his shield. And I feel like Enzo has been on the receiving end of it a lot.
Unfortunately, yeah. And that is just a matter of the character's been out for so long, I imagine, right? Everybody knows what he does, what his strengths are, and also with a lot of the Vanguards in the game being changed, being buffed, also a lot of the duelists. Maybe the character's gonna be left in the dust, but right now, Wolver left in the dust on this defense. Legendary watching and finding where his team is. They've been ran over by an Iron Fist and a Dance of the Butterflies.
I mean, they just got forced out position early. Polly dropping the cap ult, going into the back line, and everyone had to adapt. And while they're in the middle of change up rotationally, it just didn't work out well. Burr Patapim was able to pick up some picks courtesy of Pokey, and that sets the stage here for a second point. Still very defensible, by the way. But, okay, they're going to go for the portal. We'll see if this works. It's not the best portal engage scenario, and they lose Wolver immediately. So, can Supremacy fight this back 5-on-6? It's got to at least force Tanuki, drop the Iron Fist ult, move on in, look for a little bit more at the moment. Into the back line he goes. Alex able to take down Yazan, and slowly but surely, Burr Patapim should secure the first point.
Yeah, it's just so consistent. Honestly, that was not a bad hold from Supremacy, as they're just still going towards this cart. I mean, like you said, ZP, I mean, they held nearly for 3 minutes and 30 seconds. Now we get 3 minutes into the third phase. the pressure that this Iron Fist can provide is definitely helping them, like the survivability. Right now, I would like to see Pokey maybe slow it down a little bit for his team. Maybe, look for Yazan a little bit more. Their dives have been a little overextended potentially, as Supremacy are dealing with those engages pretty well right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think your Supremacy, you feel pretty good about your first point defense. You want to extend things out a little bit more on second point. And, the idea for just keeping tabs on Yazan, very important after what happened at first. But already, Tanuki into the backline, and the fight's over before it even begins. An excellent engage coming in for Berber Patapim, and, Dogman, we're already down the last fight for second point for Supremacy.
Dick punch is my game.
Oh, my God. No, dude, you guys were talking about... him last week, Tanuki. This guy is absolutely terrifying on Jeff, absolutely terrifying on Iron Fist. Obviously, the playstyle's pretty similar. You just kind of have to sit at the top of the skybox, and you don't even expect this man kind of jump down on your backline, delete. Bad Genius, who has swapped over to that Cloak and Dagger, by the way, from map to map. He was on Wolverine. Legendary was on the Invisible Woman. Now they've traded roles.
DRP, open up your Psionic Seduction, forcing movement at the very least from Berber Patapim. Not going to be any immediate pickoffs, but let Supremacy get back on the point. But Pokey, Dance of the Butterfly in the back, cuts them apart! 3 for Pokey off the Dance of the Butterfly. They didn't have any responses in the tank here, Dogman. And now, with map 2 in the balance, a real nice second point time for Berber Patapim gives them the golden road to go up 2-0.
I don't know what it is about this game, ZP, but people suck at the streets phase on defense. Like, it just feels like it's so hard to hold. I really don't know what it is. Maybe it's ultimates or whatever, or the length of the middle of the map, but I mean, that was literally not even a hold. That wasn't a contest, right?
I mean, it was neutral picks coming in from Berber Patapim at times, and in that case, just a really well-timed Dance of the Butterfly. Supremacy. Yeah. Now they're going to have some strategist ults up here, but 2.5 minutes holding here. I mean, not impossible, but they're kind of at a margin for error. Enzo opens up here in Meteor M. Not going to find anything in the beginning. Instead, Supremacy. There, Meteor M coming up. They lost Legendary. They actually need Wolver to get something with this, and he does. Gets Alex into the back line. Getting with the strategist, Tanuki low. Finish off by Atrocity, who swaps up to the Winter Soldiers. So, good initial hold here from Supremacy as we enter point 3.
Wow. I wonder why NCU used the bubble there, knowing that a Meteor M was incoming. Obviously you want to have that ready to go when that Meteor comes in. As you are the Magneto player, that's your job to keep your Cloak and Dagger alive with the ultimate. Pokey now has to back out with his life from a Bucky, and that's a good swap. I think Bucky is sort of the soft counter to Captain America. Not even really a soft counter. Could delete the shield with this huge, meatball bullets, and it's sort of the mullets.
Meatball mullets. Give me a t-shirt right now. New team name: Berber Patapim versus the Meatball Mullets.
Well, Pokey right now looking to give him a haircut at the very least in the back end. No bullets here. Not able to find just yet. Building up towards the Dance of Butterfly. Meanwhile, looking at Polly. Alt, good to go. Being a huge menace into the backline of Supremacy right now. Loki ult, gonna fade. Eternal Bond, though, coming in here from Bad Genius and over to here we go. Cracking it back from Atrocity. Is Atrocity gonna get anything off this? No resets to be found here just yet. Psionic Seduction used. The ult bank completely drained from Supremacy. They get nothing in turn. Enzo, meanwhile, close to Meteor M, but Yazan into the back. Finding Ken. Berber Patapim down to their final minute, and Enzo gonna fall before any Meteor M comes up. It sets the stage for one final definitive fight for the course of map 2.
Yeah, like I said, I liked this comp for Supremacy. Right now, they did use both Stratus ultimates. That's going to be brutal coming into this fight, as Alex is going to have that Cloak and Dagger ult ready to go. Going to go aggressive with it. Wolver will see if he can build up that Meteor M, and I'm curious if NZO this time bubbles his own backline, as Alex is going to have to get that ultimate out without dying to Wolver's ultimate.
Yeah, I mean, Supremacy is completely drained. They desperately need a pick off in the neutral here. If Berber Patapim is able to engage, it's looking bad, but here we go. The Eternal Bond out here from Alex. Berber Patapim gonna go in off that Enzo aggressively, looking for the dunk. Meteor M good to go. Not gonna get a pick off on it here. Supremacy right now trying to stand. Trusty though, falls to Tanuki in the back. Polly on the fall through. Wolver though, Meteor M fits Pokey in turn. Still perhaps winnable here from Supremacy. Down 1 here so far. Yazan into the back, gets on the Ken. Alex down same. And the strategist backline from Berber Patapim completely decimated. Supremacy right now trying to hold on, but Tanuki, the cleanup onto the convoy. Tanuki is keeping Berber Patapim in it. This is coming down to the wire, and Tanuki cannot be stopped. One after another. Polly's still around, and we are in overtime, and Berber Patapim is still in it.
I mean, you have Rocket Raccoon just to try to live from this backline, but Bad Genius cannot. Arm the Dangerous in the front line. Atrocity. Can you go big without your team? It looks like no reset is there, and Berber all on the cart right now, but the support is coming through now.
All right, we are effectively reset for Patapim. Gonna use the gun mischief early on. And now, Yazan, dance to the butterfly. I think he's looking for the pick off on the Cap. Instead, Cap just runs out of there. Doesn't get the value he's looking for. Supremacy, though, back up. Full 6v6 here, back on the point. Eye of Agamotto gonna be dropped. Only hits DRP. Is the fall through to be there? It is. DRP immediately down. Supremacy, though, trading out in turn. Is this going to be where they want Pokey able to take down Wolver? Right now, more pickoffs of Berber, Patapim, then Supremacy. They just need a little bit further with this convoy. They get the cliff they need, and it's going to be map 2, the way of Patapim. But what Puckett said. What Puckett said.
Honestly, that's how I feel after that, ZP. That was insane. That was an incredible last fight.
It just went on, and for a moment, you thought that Supremacy had it in the bag. Yazan was able to get to the back line with Legendary. They got both strategists down for Berber Patapim, and then Tanuki just said, I'm just gonna keep throwing hands on the convoy. We'll see where it goes. And where it went was to a map 2 victory for Berber Patapim.
Tanuki, MVP of the night, without a doubt. Don't care what happens after this. Shout out to my guy getting a 2-0 lead. Also, shout out to Uber Shouts, who joins us in the chat. So, Uber, what did you miss? Let's talk about it. We had Wolverines jumping on torches, taking them down in the first half. We went 3 rounds in domination. Then Supremacy picked this map. They didn't get the 3rd point, but they pushed really well. So we thought they were going to win. And then Berber Patapim at the end. They have this Tanuki guy who used to play Jeff, and now he's pretty good at more characters. ZP, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Tanuki looking incredibly versatile. Also, his Jeff is such a threat if you're catching up. Jeff has been banned in every map so far.
Yes.
And it's not a joke ban. It is not a joke ban at all. It is very legitimate because otherwise Berber Patapim would be running Jeff Cap dive every single map without question. So the era of Jeff has arrived.
Chad, did you notice Dogman is slowly evolving into Clark Kent?
Am I?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
It
no.
looks
Why'd you
good,
point
bro.
that
Don't
out?
change it. Don't change it. Dogman, we're on match point right now. I thought we were gonna go a while here in the challengers match. Is Supremacy mentally boomed after that? Because those game types can just be exhausting when you're fighting over the convoy for inches to go.
Honestly, I want to say yes, but they seem like a resilient team, man. Like they've on map number 1 come back when they had no kills on the very first round of the game. So this team, they kind of can pull out some crazy stuff like we saw with the Mantis. I don't know if you could pull it off on the defense. It's a little cheesy. But, this team, not too bad. Yazan looked really good on the Psylocke, for somebody that is known as like a flyer one trick in separate games and other titles. I think that today he's shown he can play very well on the Psylocke. I think he needs a little bit more support, from his team in general. It's been a bit difficult for, I think, Legendary to get online. I think he has to figure out what his role is in this team. Right now, Berber, I figured it out.
Berber, Patapim, getting 2 wins in a row. Is it the duelist? Is it the vanguards? Is it the strategist, ZP? Who do you have eyes on early for potential MVPs?
I think for me, I would actually put a good amount of this right now onto Vanguard play. I've really liked how Berber Patapim has played from the Vanguard end. Even though Enzo was getting focused out a lot, I think Polly's disruption on the Cap, it's hard to understate the overall impact that it's had. And part why when we've seen Pokey come in and have these big duelist plays, a lot of it just comes from the fact that you've had Cap in there first, getting resources out, getting people just low enough for people to be finished off in turn. That is the one big difference between these two teams that hasn't really changed a whole lot from the maps, is that one team wants to play Cap, the other team does not, and the Cap is creating more opportunities for the duelists to feast on.
I want to give a shout out to Urbu in the chat who says, somebody do a PC check on Polly. That's the Captain America. I don't think you can cheat with Cap. Maybe there's like a macro you can dial in I don't know about, but well done. Uber Shouts, by the way, knows how to use his Amazon Prime. And if you don't know how, ask him in the chat. He's there right now. He'll be casting live. You can annoy him all night as we have Rivals Fight Night just in Chapter 1 of 4. Dogman, sometimes we go to a commercial break here. Other times I tell Solomon to just suck it up because we're going to the Hall of Dajalia, and it's going to be a great time. The chat's ready to party. Are you expecting a Game 4? And if so, how do I get there?
I think right now it's all into that ban protect phase currently. I think they tried with that cloak and dagger, and it was actually not that bad to like make sure all the other heroes that were strategists were banned, like Luna Snow. We had Loki protected, obviously, but with those bans in the previous map, I'd be curious to see if they can pull off a similar thing that they did on Yggdrasil Path. I think it's possible. I don't know if the strategist target is like the best idea though. Right at the end of the day, I think that. Yeah, there's too many, exactly. And there's too many playstyles. It obviously got rid of the Human Torch just by proxy because Human Torch is super hard to play with a Loki and Cloak and Dagger, but
right.
I don't know if you could pull off the same strategy yet again.
I like trying to get rid of the Luna, but maybe you go after the Loki moving forward. Try and just dismantle the pockets of healing. Here we go. Hall of the Jolly is loading up. We have our bans and protects in, and ZP. I see you eyeing something. What's got you excited over there? I see the wheels turning in the ZP brain.
Look, I think for me, you're down 2 maps and you have one common denominator that has given you trouble all series long. First, ban the cap. Yes, other things may come up as a result of it, but what do you got to lose right now? You've had Pauly just set up Rent into your backline, like no Rent, actually just squatting in your backline the entire time. Like he's in your refrigerator, he's eating your food, he's making a mess of everything, he's left the bathroom just a complete disaster. Get him out of there. Evict Captain America out of the map, and we'll see where the rest of it goes.
Does Captain have headshots? Can you like punch people in the throat and get extra damage, Dogman?
No, that's not a thing,
yet.
luckily. No, but he can do some stupid animation cancels and like delete you.
Yeah, somebody in the chat said that there's aimbot for Cap, and I believed it for like 0.3 seconds. It's like, God damn, I was away for 1 week watching Call of Duty. I believe anything. Warzone is a terrible place sometimes. All right, here we go. Game number 3, Hall of the Jolly. I've said that 4 times, Solomon. Do the players need more time to finish their bathroom break? Are they nervous? Because this is clearly not a Tanuki break. This is definitely a Supremacy nervous potty break because Tanuki's got the claws out. He never backs down. He's always ready, ZP. I see him in the chat right now.
I would just love if production actually just came in here at the screenshot of like Tanuki in bathroom 1 second and be like, oh, it's just the entire narrative has been completely destroyed. It turns out that when you're stomping that hard, all your bodily processes are in overdrive, and sometimes you got to let loose. But we are letting loose here on the first pick, first ban. Supremacy. Do you have it in you? Get you first ban the cap. That's what I want to see. Yes,
it's gone.
They did it. They did it.
Not getting punched in the throat no more. On the other side, we got Katax coming in with a subscription. All you have to do is use your Prime or $5. Head on over to twitch.tv/rivals fight night. Here we go. Dogman, what do we got?
We'll see what the bands on the side. When you guys talk about the bathroom breaks, by the way, I just couldn't help but think about like maybe innovative future esports content. We get like cameras hooked up to the pro players' chests, so we can like follow them around afterwards during the break, see where they're at, right? Keep track of them, sort of monitor them like the season.
Make sure no one's snorting anything. I see what you're up to, dog man. We got a
Miami Vice
after
over here.
that, Adam Warlock. Yeah, I was just kidding, guys. Rivals is pretty tame. We're pretty chill here.
Yeah,
have a little caffeine and a good time.
Meanwhile, we have the Namor Protector. That just feels like one of those things of just, you want to get bans out of Burper Patapim. You're not actually expecting to play the Namor if you're Supremacy, though you would love to do so, because you know that Bruce Banner is getting shown the door, which he is in the response here. So, the gamesmanship of, we'd love to play Namor, but unfortunately, you're not going to let it happen. But the Jeff Protect comes on in. Okay, this is actually interesting because I didn't think you'd want to run the Jeff minus the Cap. But Cap is dead and Jeff is alive, so they might be going for it anyways.
For the noobs out there, why does Cap want to be with Jeff at all times? Why can I only use one and not the other, ZP?
Well, the reason is that they're both in your backline, and Jeff is like, on top of being really hard to kill, is also dishing out healing. His healing potency is actually ridiculous, what he's able to put out there. And when he's in the backline with Cap and they're just, having their bonding time, all that Jeff healing is going directly into Cap, who's already difficult to kill to begin with. So the two actually have ridiculous natural synergy.
Scales to lips, shields to teeth. Here we take a look at the Cloak and Dagger being protected. Invisible Woman is going to be removed, so a whole lot of strategists involved in the bans and protects. On the other side, Hulk is gone. So we're going to see a Vanguard removed, and you saw Cap in the first round. Final play here. What do you see, Dogman?
Black Widow ban. They don't want to play against the Cheese. They don't want to play. Honestly, Berber's bans make sense. Supremacy did exactly what ZP said, by the way. ZP said ban Cap, ban Loki. Those two characters now removed. Trying to get rid of those characters that can, sort of enable or, disable, I suppose, the side of the Psylocke, right? Make sure that Psylocke can't get as many eliminations with the shield from Invisible Woman, the greens from Loki's, all those things are tough to deal with. So enabling Yazan is definitely Supremacy's way forward.
Have you guys ever thought about the people who rage when they get put in timeout? They're like, no one can see my messages for 10 minutes. Back to you, ZP.
I've never put that much thought into it, but I'm sure somewhere out there, someone has slammed a desk or broken a monitor from that. Where, Don, that's actually a thing. I never would have believed it until I was playing Rust with this random group way back when, and one guy just got off for the wipe randomly, and then he comes back the next day is like, yeah, sorry guys, I broke my monitor because I died over at oil. Just like, no, you're kidding. And yeah, actually, he was a pretty good player. But you take a look. He actually posted a picture of his monitor being broken. It's like, so yeah, if someone could react like that to getting banned,
with vitamin D in your life, son,
for Twitch, it could be a thing. But
I will say, like, I feel like you said he's a good player, but you didn't say he's a good person. Was that like so?
No, there's two separate things entirely.
Two separate things. Right, of course.
It's like Tyreek Hill. I get it.
Tyreek destroyed my fantasy team last year, and I got bad feelings towards the Miami Dolphins. But here we go. Tanuki on one side, Atrocity on the other. We're giving not just the people what they want, but more importantly, we're giving Puckett what he wants.
This is the greatest production in Rivals esports, ladies and gentlemen. Soak it in, one Jeff at a time.
One Jeff doing more than the other. Others hiding away in the back line, waiting, ready to go, eating the fish. Other ones being a little bit more annoying on the front line. It's going to be a lot of spam. That's all we're going to see, by the way. This is just literal Jeff spammage until a dive comes through.
Yeah, I mean, it's just Jeff poking, looking for help. But also, you are running out the Psylocke for Supremacy, which is kind of nice because it's going to let Yazan be even more aggressive. And they almost get, they go in, they nearly get the pick off. Instead, the Wolverine dies on the other side. DRP though able to take down Tanuki. So 5-on-5 here so far. Note that Supremacy here on the attack. Yazan with 2, and it's both strategists. This fight's over.
Yeah, it's done. And that was all because of, guess who? Legendary, who is now swapped over to that Luna Snow. He got the freeze on the Jeff, right? That Jeff gets frozen. DRP comes through with the final elimination. And this is such a unique team, Supremacy. I mean, they've swapped roles so many times. Legendary now over to Luna Snow, and it's Atrocity, the strategist player, on the Jeff.
And Tanuki down again, even as the portal comes on in. So they're gonna have to do the retake. Sans Jeff as Yazan, by the way, is playing Ultimate Zoner 5000 right now into the back line. As you take a look at Pokemon, it's like, I just have to keep holding S. He just keeps coming.
Yazan's nasty with it. Also, I just want to point out how Puckett pointed out the Twitch primers earlier, and now we're just getting flooded with primes in the chat room.
Another mole coming in with a prime. Thank you for the free donation. You helped paid for one observer tonight. Excellent.
Also, we got Jeff versus Jeff down here. It's not a gulag, but it may as well be. Two sharks in there, one shark leaves, or one shark just decides, I'm going to go to the other side. Go for the ult. How many he's got there? You got 3! Trosty right now, a grand feast in that shark's belly, and he's going to bring it off over to the side, and 2 down as a result. But still puts the rest into a bad spot. It's, Berber Patapim kind of getting run over still.
They are, and NZO decided to ult so that he didn't fall off the map, right? Can fly up over that ledge, but didn't connect with the ultimate. NZO needs to save his backline, stay alive from Yazan, who is just being a terrorizer right now, and he can kind of keep going, right? It's just this Magneto and this Cloak and Dagger on the inside angle. Right now, Supremacy are looking so good, ZP.
Yeah, and I mean, it's just been momentum from the first point where Berber Patapim, it's like a prize fighter that just got hit with a haymaker to the jaw. They're staggered as Yazan just deletes Pokey from this reality directly into the backline. Picture perfect Psylocke burst in from Yazan as Supremacy looks to keep Berber Patapim off kilter right now. They go in right now. Fate of Both Worlds being used by Legendary. DRP being healed on up. DRP, though, actually just getting taken on down. The healing, not enough. And with DRP falling, this may be what Berber Patapim finally needs here, Dogman, to get some form of stability.
Dogman, I've never had a strategist work with me, so when he shoots those icy shots, does it hurt them or slow them or both?
Definitely both, yeah. I mean, it slows, hurts, does it all. I mean, it's the most painful thing in the game. It's like you have a thorn in your face on the other side. Ultimate's used through Yazan, Dance of the Butterfly. Groot Ultimate somehow brings Yazan back into that Jeff mouth on the inside angle from Tanuki.
Looking at Wolver, Strangling Prison dropped. Is the fall through going to be there? Luna's still dancing, so the answer is probably no. Meanwhile, Tanuki goes, all right, I'm going to toss some people out here over the left-hand side too. Not quite able to fish off Yazan immediately. Yazan still alive, but Alex with the fall through from the ground keeps Tanuki in a good shape. And finally, Dogman, Berber Patapim get a moment of breather after what was nonstop action from beginning of the map to now.
Yeah, that was just off of, I mean, the side of Yazan, right? He, again, is so good on this Psylocke. We really haven't seen too many Psylocke plays to this level necessarily. Pokey was popping off, don't get me wrong, earlier, but just being on Yazan's POV feels a lot like Sparker, over here on the other side. We'll see if Pokey can fight him out of here, right? They know exactly where they're coming up from in this upcoming fight.
All right. Supremacy looking to keep their attack alive right now. 2 minutes left to go. Tanuki down immediately. The Jeff flank shut down right away. Supremacy working one up. Pokey gonna try and even the odds right now. Dance to the butterfly into the back line. Polly gets DRP. So with that, 5-on-5. Legendary gonna drop the dance a little bit late. Still 5-on-5. Pokey looking to the back line. Meanwhile, Strangling Prison dropped here by Polly. His fall through gonna be there. Supremacy right now still dancing, still looking good and strong. 5v5 right now. Yazan looking right through the back line. Polly, though, meanwhile, takes down Bad Genius. You're down to the strategist now. If you're Supremacy, Burger Patapim back up to a full 6, and you got a minute 30 left. Now may be the time to reset.
Yeah, it is, and I think that was so much pressure onto the strategists. You saw both Legendary and Bad Genius trying to keep each other alive, just staring at each other in the Dance of the Butterflies, so they don't have to ult so early, but eventually they had to, and it's just constantly pressuring out those backline. Oh, by the way, Dance of the Butterflies stuck on the high ground, just using it to live. Can't chase out the Jeff. It's a little bit weird in terms of verticality, this ultimate, but you chase out that Jeff off the high ground, that's at least something on that side.
Trosty feeling hungry right now, going in for a little snack. You were down Bad Genius already in this fight. So see where this one goes. You know, it's a lot of fiber in your diet right now. A little bit too much cellulose, but you get the Groot and you spit him away. So Polly gone, but all that happens. Guess what? Burger Patapim also just wins the rest of the team
Polygon.
Yeah, that was not intentional. This is freebie.
That's a shape.
Is he just gonna live? He's just rolling a Jeff moment. Really, Jeff? This is what, when you see people, okay, finally they get him. If you see people in rank being like, guys, just kill the Jeff, it's so easy. No, man, that's what you're dealing with. You get this guy moving at Mach speeds under the water, like with an inch of a particle to shoot at. There's like nothing to shoot at on Jeff's angle. Supremacy, 20 seconds left.
It's a real small hitbox is what it comes down to. But final fight for Supremacy to keep this attack going, to try and maximize their chances of getting another map here in our challenging match at Rivals Fight Night. We'll see what they have. DRP, Meteor M on deck. Burger Patapim, way more ults in reserve, including Strangling Prison. But we'll see. Bad Genius, abduction here from Wolverine. His fall through gonna be there. Strangling Prison gets dropped in turn. Yazan though, takes down Polly off that. Meteor M from DRP, used. Meanwhile, Supremacy right now up 1. Burger Patapim down. They got the Eternal Bond down right now to try and buy a little bit of time. But here comes Tanuki. Tanuki's real hungry right now. Gonna pick up 2 and 2 of his friends. And now going up and over. The long goodbye up and over in the end. And Wolverine tries to get on the knockback on the other side. But he's actually able to stay on the platform, still stay alive. He's on meanwhile into the backhand. Gets on the Alex. Enzo down to turn. And Supremacy. Dogman. They're gonna get point 2.
Was
Yeah,
that
they're doing it.
difference right there between the Jeffs?
Yeah, I think there's not enough, he didn't have enough projectile momentum or something. I don't know.
More jowl needed. I got it.
Yeah, yeah. He ate 2 members of the team that can both, you know, mobility away, right? And also, by the way, Atrocity onto that Rocket Raccoon not dying is huge. You know, ZP, did you know Rocket Raccoon actually has like the highest DPS in the game, close range? Like if you're just shooting somebody right in the face, it's actually more than Punisher left click.
No, I believe it. If you've got shot by it once, you're like, wait, what's going on? Which makes you wonder how, you know, people decide to go no damage rockets. Like, no. It should be full damage rocket. Meanwhile, Bad Genius. Last stand, good to go. Kind of slashing at the air right now. Didn't have the greatest initial dive. Only under a minute right now for Supremacy, so not much time to work with here on point 3, given how long they got gummed up on point 2. But here we go. The grab on the Polly just keeps on going and going and going. Is the fall through going to be there? The Magneto bubble made it a little bit interesting. Meanwhile, Pokey dropping Dance to the Butterfly on the Atrocity. 1 pickoff so far here for Burger Patapim. Supremacy now down 2. They got to try and get out of this and go for one last fight. 30 seconds left to go.
Yeah, unfortunately, while they were setting up that grab, Pokey was just flanking the whole fight. So right now, Burr is setting up pretty good, but we've seen them kind of choke this out before. 20 seconds left to go. Supremacy could clutch up. They got stopped in the 3rd phase of Yggdrasil path. We'll see if they can break that curse today.
10 seconds left to go. Supremacy looking to finish out here on Hall of Jalia. See where this one goes. DMP moving up forward. Yazan has the dance locked, loaded, ready to go. Gonna be looking for his opportunity. Alex gonna open up here with dance. Fate of Both Worlds used. Enzo dropping Meteor M into the back line. DRP, Meteor M looking. Either Meteor M gonna hit Paydirt. Both teams still at a full 6. Yazan still hanging on to the dance. Pokey staying down Wolver. The time to go is now. Yazan gonna drop Dance to the Butterfly into the back. Is anything gonna happen there? No. Legendary trying to aid it with Fate of Both Worlds. And meanwhile, Jeff's hungry. Jeff's grabbed 3, pulled him way away from the fight. This pickup gonna happen here after it. And Jeff versus the world. Meanwhile, back in the convoy. DRP's able to take on Ken. It split out the fight a little bit, but surely you think Burger Patapim's still holding a bit of an edge.
Yeah, this has been so awkward for Supremacy, but it's sort of working out. Yazan's on the payload onto Tanuki. Pokey does trade out one. But that Jeff beat was huge from Atrocity. The swap over to Jeff is panning out for them right now. But we'll see if they can find these final eliminations. Pokey is going to fall in, as does Yazan. So still trades on backside, both sides. Alex with the freeze. He's going to get back to his team. No way.
Wolver, meanwhile, looking real low. Desperately needs a little bit of healing. Is going to get it. DRP, though, with the pick on the Alex. Patapim now getting staggered. The Jeff eat just being the disruption that they needed. Still trying to recover and get back to neutral. Take a look, though. Pokey could be the one that end it here and now. Dance the Butterfly, good to go. As Supremacy tries to move this pin a little bit forward. Here we go. Pokey dives on in. Dance is used. Is any pickoff going to happen as a result? It does. Bad Genius is down. Same with DRP. Pokey hitting pay dirt here for Patapim. And with 3 down, you would think this will be the end of the convoy here and now.
I mean, Portal is going to come through from Legendary. He's going to fall. Everybody else goes down. Atrocity with the he just goes off the map. And again, they get stopped in the third phase. ZP, we saw this before, although, albeit they made it a little bit farther, 108 meters this time.
Time to switch things up, including
All right. So, interesting back and forth, both sides here. But in the end, you know, again, we're kind of in the situation where this is winnable for Supremacy. It's kind of what we said last time on the path, but it's still very true that you can first point hold on this map. This is still one of the better points to get a first point hold on. We'll see if they're able to manage it.
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to continue this way, ZP, but Supremacy specifically, and so I guess Berber was doing this earlier too, they just constantly change roles. Like we saw Atrocity go over to the Jeff, which is, I mean, more of a duelist, I think, in this game, and not really a strategist, so they should probably change his role, by the way. But that character, right, changing from the Rocket Raccoon, and then Bad Genius going to Wolverine, and Yazan, you know, playing his characters, Legendary going over to the Luna Snow. This team is so unique, ZP. I don't know, like, what's your perspective from this? Like, do you think that this is the wave right now to constantly change even between roles in round? Is this like efficient, or because ultimates build up so fast in this game, right?
I mean, I think it's not bad right now. I think there's enough unique matchups that if it's something that will even get your opposition off guard for a fight, it's probably worth doing. Obviously, you pay a penalty if this is how you play normally, because generally speaking, you're going to have higher execution if you play the same stuff more regularly. But while we're in a meta that's still evolving and you're still looking for ways to get things done, especially in the moment, I think the change-ups at times can have high value.
Can I ask a crucial question? I think the chat was onto something. You would have stopped your opponent at the second point if you would have just dove off as Jeff, right? We're closing in on overtime. You'd be down to 1 here. Think about it as we get into this first fight.
Yeah, it's probably true. I guess these Jeffs just value their lives too much. You know, they just need to become sushi more so than not.
Like, you want the selfless Jeff is what you want here. But
why you always gotta live, Jeff? It's not your job, bud.
How dare you value your personal security? But Tanuki, a little bit of damage here. Ooh, gets it on the Legendary. The right amount of poke into the back line, getting rid of the health threat. Yazan not really faring a whole lot better. You look at the health bars, they're looking awfully low. Enzo able to finish off the rest here with Pokey. And this is a devastating first point attack coming on in from Berber Patapim. I mean, basically about the same as what Supremacy did on their first attack. The difference here, Dogman, may be how the teams play second, where Berber Patapim had a great second point hold by comparison.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the difference maker, like you said. We'll see what happens with Supremacy on their hold. Right now, Berber 5 minutes into the streets phase of the map. They set up all these angles. They've got that Venom, like you said. Potentially, we could see some Jeffs jump off the map, right? Kill themselves in Minecraft without a water bucket, you know, jumping off a cliff. We'll see if Supremacy, not running the Jeff on their own side, can pan out for them. Is that too much, CP? Oh, wait, did he disconnect or I disconnect? Hold up. 1 second. There's an ultimate coming through in the back line. Barely even noticed Yazan. Gonna force out that Jeff. He did that again previously in the other parts of the game. This time, Yazan, you know, is playing in the back, right? This is what a lot of good Psylocke players do. They just sort of live in the back line. Right now, you know, the side of Supremacy just sort of playing towards that cart. 4 minutes and 30 seconds left to go into the sky. The bird on Hella has ultimate ready to go. Jump stack down, and look who's back. It's ZP again in the mouth of Jeff. Guess who gets 3 members in Tanuki's mouths.
Yeah, they just immediately get thrown off there. I didn't see the setup because my internet just died for a moment, but you see the fall through, and that's really all that matters. Tanuki making the Jeff work here on the attack. Supremacy getting pushed back again.
I'm glad it's your internet, ZP, because I thought I was just so cringe with my Minecraft reference that you just actually disconnected from life. So I'm glad you're here with us today for for this upcoming fight.
You know, now if I hear another Minecraft reference, I may just have to disconnect intentionally just to sell it. Meanwhile, speaking of selling death and destruction, you got Pokey into the back line, drops the Dance of the Butterfly, gets his counterpart Yazan down, and it's still Supremacy right now. They're just getting continually staggered. They're going to give up second, and this is a long, long defense that they have in store for them here on third, Dogman, if they want to keep this one alive. Remember, they are facing elimination if Berber Patapim is just able to finish out the map.
This goes back to what Puckett said earlier. He was like, do people play Venom anymore? Yes, they do. When Cap is banned, when Hulk is banned, you have this character. I mean, Hulk not necessarily like a diver necessarily, but just another character who lives. Look at again. NZO with the elimination of the Legendary who swapped over to that Bucky to try to counter dive. Yazan's over to that Iron Fist. I mean, they're trying everything right now, ZP, and it's not working right now. The pacing is so high from Berber.
Yeah, I mean, Berber is simply in their face and not letting go. They walk out spawn, they see an orange Venom twerking. Essentially, it's like, that's right, Venom's back, baby. Wolver, though, gonna drop the Strangling Prison. Use to get rid of the problem that is Pokey. However, we got a little bit of dinner for Jeff. Tanuki gonna grab Wolver and go, all right, you know what? My doctor said I need a little bit more fire. Actually, got way more than Wolver, got an extra 2 in tow. However, Groot able to drop the walls, keep people nice and protected here, turning the battle back on the Jeff, and even still with the aid of Venom, they're able to take down DRP and is still seeing Supremacy getting staggered.
I don't like that from DRP. I mean, he could have fallen back with his team because his team was backing up to regroup, and he just wanted to go forward and reset. But if Supremacy can get elimination here, that could work out for them. Pokey using his ult to stay alive, Tanuki as well as on Jeff, so he's never going to go down right now. They don't even touch! Oh, my God!
2-2.
Just when you think you're going to have the final climactic fight, nah, it's going to be Berber Patapim finishing off Supremacy 3-0 with a very, very quick attack here on the last map. Still, though, I mean, we kind of talked about it over the course of the map, Dogman. It's not that Supremacy got completely rolled over. They had moments where they looked very good, showed a bunch of different ways of having versatile comps, even a Black Widow at one point, but the overall consistency of Berber Patapim just a little bit too much to deal with.
Yeah,
Berber Patapim, baby. They got the bigger Jeff, they got the bigger Groot, and they got a 3-0 moving on to a championship match once again. Is that 2 for 2? Challenger wins, ZP? I know I missed them last week. How'd they perform compared to this week?
They looked great last week versus Al Qudsiya, where they also came in and they dominated. And again, it's not that like, you know, Al Qudsiya looked bad. It's just Berber Patapim. Look, this is arguably a super team. You've taken the best from Royal Beamers, some of the very best from OG. You've merged them up together, you know, put it behind a logo of a monstrosity and said, let's go. Mix in a little bit of Jeff gameplay into the mix. And this is a team that even shocked VP at the start of last week's money match. So yeah, Berber Patapim, they're for real.
Dogman, you seem kind of upset at the end of that game. Do you not like it when people just ignore objectives?
No, man, that's just awful to see. I mean, it's easier. I will say it is easier in Rivals to not touch the payload because it's so the payload in these maps is like it varies so much. The how they're shaped, and then also like the hitbox of them is like constantly teleporting. It's so like thin and vertical. It's so weird, Puck. I know what you're thinking mentally, I'm sure, with that image, but yeah, it makes it really awkward to touch. Last second.
Polygons, ladies and gentlemen. As we take a look at some of the numbers, damage from Europe seems to be a little bit lower, at least more evenly spread out. Is that just the nature of the new meta, ZP? What are we seeing so far? I know it's only been 3 weeks since the first update.
Well, look, I mean, damage is more so a metric of how much are people getting healed up in turn. And some of the fights we saw here, I mean, the first eliminations came in pretty quickly. It wasn't, whenever you're not seeing Loki Luna, you're getting a lot less padded damage in on the stats because people are actually getting eliminated way more quickly. Whereas where the damage numbers go out of Rye in, you know, the average Marvel Rivals game is when you get Loki, Luna, you get Fate of Both Worlds like 9,000 times a single team fight, and no one is dying, but damage is still being done all the while, right? But when you tamp down on that a little bit, make sure, you know, at least 1 to 2 is banned, usually you'll have, you know, a little bit of a variation, or rather, less overall damage, more overall killing blows.
Oh my goodness, the haters are out. They're busy on the keyboards today, but I have great news because you can't hate on Tanuki, dog man. He's got claws. When he doesn't have claws, he's got jaws. And when he doesn't have jaws, he's got fiery feet. The torch from game number 1. Will we see more of this? Do you want more Wolverine? What was most impressive from your MVP?
I think his flexibility, and that's really what it is in this game in Marvel Rivals, is being able to flex to basically every single hero on the roster. You have to be able to do it all, right? You play the melee characters, you can play that range, you can play the torch, you can play Jeff at times. I mean, it obviously wasn't him playing. Well, no, he was playing the Jeff too. Iron Fist, right? There's so much variance from Tanuki's compositions, from his heroes played. And that's really what creates the best players in this game. And that's what we're going to see long term. I think in Marvel Rivals, we're going to see so many heroes in even one person's hero pool. So I think I'm excited for the Marvel Rivals future, and Tanuki's definitely going to be a part of it if he keeps playing this way.
He's been one of my favorite duelists since the start of EU competition, and not because he's the best, because he does it different. Now everyone else starting to catch on to his meta. He was running the Jeff before everyone. Now is the Iron Fist the new wave ZP?
I mean, Iron Fist is good. I think the goal here is that you continually throw additional dive threats into the backline to where, just in terms of team comms, actually dealing with it is a real pain. I mean, dear Lord, if you have points here where you have like a Jeff, an Iron Fist, and a Cap, I dare anyone, regardless of level of play, to make sense of the chaos. It gets a little bit wild out there, and it's very, very effective, especially if the other team would rather play a slower game style, things like a Hela or a Namor, and keep things a little bit slowed down. High tempo gameplay is really good, which is why if you don't want to deal with it, you have to expend a lot of your bans in the draft to basically target ban and get rid of it.
That tricky bridge, but Tanuki knows how to get over it. 3-2 your final score in map number 3, a 3-0 on the series. Patapim. My new favorite team from Europe now has to take on my original favorite team from Europe, which is Virtus.pro. Dogman, the fans at home are in for a treat. You just saw a little sample of what the duelists can do. Now you get to focus in on the Vanguard's expectations for the EU final with $1,000 on the line.
Oh, yeah. I think VP looking pretty good, man. They're going to probably take it, but we'll see if Berber... I mean, they look pretty good, too. Like we said, you saw on Twitter, we saw people on... or on X, sorry. We saw VP mention how that team is so good. They gave them respect. They said it's the closest game they've had yet. So I do expect it to be close.
I have a challenge for you, Finzi. I see you in the chat. Last time I gave you a challenge, you did it. You typed while on a cart, but you lost that game. This challenge, I need you guys to come out of the opening domination game with Virtus.pro running the Fantastic Four. I need to see all 4 of them in action. You can choose the other 2. We're going to a break. When we come back, we have Finzi and his friends Virtus.pro taking on Patapim, ladies and gentlemen. AU's got a new challenger. He goes by the name of Tanuki.